Okay, good deal. All right. So let's go ahead and let me present my screen to you. Let me share my screen so we can look at our bell ringer together. All right. Let's see. It's not sharing it just yet. All right. Now it says it is. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Let me know. 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 Can you see my screen?
No.
No? All right. Well, dang it. I need to see that.
Now I can.
Now you can. All right.
I can now.
Okay. All right. Cool. Perfect. Takes just a second, I guess. All right. Let's go to our bell ringer for today. So today's question is based off of our notes from 2 days ago? Yeah, our notes from 2 days ago. I make our bell ringers do. Why is this being so slow? I guess because I'm sharing and I'm recording. Anyways. So I make our bell ringers do at the end of our live session, okay? I make them do at the end of our live session. The reason I do that is to, one, make sure that you're keeping up and doing what we're doing as we are doing it. Also, it helps me take attendance. All right, so our bell ringer for today, which side, because that's kind of how we talk about it, is who's on which side. Essentially how we talk about it. I'm not saying that's the proper definition, but that's how we refer to it in most cases. Which side of World War I did Germany fight on? We need to understand, especially some of these major countries, who exactly they are fighting with and who they are fighting for. Okay, so I gave you 4 answer choices. Answer choice number 1, the Allied powers. Answer choice number 2, the Axis powers. Answer choice number 3, the Central Powers. And answer choice number 4, none of the above. Okay, so we can automatically throw out one of these because it does not fit. One of these is not a quote-unquote side in World War I. Who can tell me that? Which side? The Axis powers. There we go. Very good. That is part of World War II. That is part of World War II, not part of World War I. Very good.
Thanks for letting me know.
You're welcome. So I can go ahead and tell you right now, it's not none of the above. It is one of these. We've already crossed out Axis powers. So it is one of the two, either Allied or Central powers. Let's see how we're looking. Is this going to show you who answered what? If that does happen, no. Okay, good. I can click on it and show it. But all right, so out of the 21 responses that I have so far right now, 16 of you answered correctly. Great job. Nobody picked none of the above, so that's good. Those of you that picked the Axis powers, you're not. I mean, if this question was asking which, again, quote unquote, side of World War II did Germany fight on, you would have it correct. That's why I put that answer choice there, not to trick you, but just to make sure that you understand the difference between World War I and World War II, and which side Germany finds themselves on. So very good. Now we got more. Great. Okay. So with that being said, we have one assignment today, and I think it's a pretty simple assignment. I tried to make it simple. I do this same assignment every semester with World War I because when we talk about trenches, which we're going to be talking about a lot during World War I, we need to understand what that means, what that looks like. So I do have a diagram for you that I do want you to attempt to draw. Okay, you're not graded on how well you draw, but again, there's a couple reasons I want you to do this. Number one, there's a lot more going on up here. There's a lot more going on up here when you are not just looking at something, but you are actually creating it as well. You're recreating this trench diagram. It's going to stick much better up here than if you just looked at it once and then never looked at it again, okay? That's why I have you draw it, okay? Now, again, you're not getting graded on how well you draw. Not getting graded on how well you draw. But let's go ahead and click on this. As you will see,
This is, well, let's go ahead and click on it. So there's a couple things I want to tell you real quick. So in our diagram, and you can do this, you can start on this while I'm talking. You can start on this tonight. You can do it tomorrow. Doesn't matter to me as long as you get this in your notebook. Okay, I do want you to draw this in your notebook right after our notes that we did the other day on the causes of World War One, because unless we understand what trenches look like, then we won't understand how trench warfare is fought. And that's our next topic. We're going to talk about trench warfare. We're going to get some of this. We're going to get some of this information out to you before we get into the battles. Because again, if you don't understand how the battles, if you don't understand how the battles are fought, like logistically speaking, you won't understand why some of the battles go the way they do, okay? So I'm trying to give you some information up front to help your understanding for later. So it's just a trick I learned. No, I'm just kidding. That's just kind of how this works. All right, so this is pulling up rather slowly. So I am going to take a sip of water. Yeah. I'm actually going to recline a little bit here. Let me grab my computer and get a little make a little bit more comfortable. There we go. Okay. Still taking a second. I want to click off of it. I'm going to click off of it. Now this is being slow too. My computer's slow, ladies and gentlemen. Now you were seeing. Yeah, Devin. Yeah, I do have two of the same tabs open. I always do. You ain't gotta hate. Not naming teachers' names, but I'm pretty good technologically. What? I got 3. Yeah, dude. Dang it. All right. You know what? Y'all go on somewhere. All right. Here we go. So this is our diagram right here. Some of you have already had this opened up. I appreciate you. You're doing very well. You're sticking with me. I appreciate you. All right. So this is what I want you to, again, just attempt to try and recreate. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not that difficult to draw. You don't necessarily have to draw a homeboy right here. You can if you want to. You can just do a stick figure. That works just as well. But I do need you to draw the rest of it, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to recreate this. We are also going to label it as well, okay? So where to start? All right, let's start over here, okay? So the trenches are dug out of the ground. And we're going to talk about how there's different methods for digging trenches and building trenches. Some of them more efficient than others. Some of them, more safer than others. Some of them are very dangerous ways in which they construct trenches. But there are holes that are dug in the ground, and it is in these holes in the ground where World War I is going to be fought, okay? If you've seen any movie that is based on World War I, this is what you'll see. All Quiet on the Western Front is probably the most famous World War I film. This past year, last year, 1917, that came out, and you got to see how trench warfare works. If you haven't seen the movie 1917, I highly recommend it, and we'll try to. I think that would be a good thing for us to watch in class. We'll figure out a way to get that done because that is something that you need to see. Okay, so these are holes dug in the ground. They use a lot of sandbags, and the sandbags are used to reinforce these walls and these barriers. So again, you want to label you're going to draw that, so make sure that you label sandbags. I do want to also let you know that you do need to write this stuff down here too. I gave you some definitions because no man's land, you need a definition for that. Yeah, you can probably figure it out, but you need a definition for that. A sump, you need a definition for that. Duck boards, dugout, fire step. I either give you a definition or tell you what it's used for. Okay, I want to help you out here so you understand again how trenches work. So you have the dugout. Dugout is used for like protection during shelling. You guys yesterday worked on some of the weaponry used in World War One. That is due tonight. That is due tonight, and like mortar and artillery. They're gonna need a place to hide, and so that's what the dugouts were used for. They're used for hiding, protection. They're used for gives you a place to eat and even sleep. Very small increments. There's different types of trenches as well. This is more so a frontline trench. Okay. Um, there's different size dugouts as well. Like some dugouts, that's a good comment, Gage. Some dugouts were big enough to house like 10 people. Now, yeah, no, you'd be very like scrunched down, but you also have to imagine that like your average soldier, I don't know, what's the average height today? Like I think worldwide the average height's like 5'8", 5'9" for men, maybe 5'10" tops. Um, maybe 5'10". Again, most of you don't really have too many soldiers that are, especially during this time, that are like 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", taller. Not to say there aren't any, but that's definitely like the 90, 95, 99 percentile. I thought it was 5'6". Look it up because I think that's a you missed a lot of the conversation. I did miss a lot of conversation. Hmm. Okay, y'all stop at my tabs. How many feet is a meter? Okay, so a meter is roughly 3 feet. Roughly, a yard is 3 feet. Exactly 3 feet. But again, our we use our own system of measurement. A lot of the rest of the world uses the metric system. So a meter is 3 feet, and I believe 3 inches is 39 inches. Um, so yeah, that helps. So what if you're like 6'7", they just get popped? Um, then you're dead. Yeah, I mean, again, like not there's different roles. Like there's different trenches. And if you had somebody that was like too tall to like, you know, to like for the trenches, or you could just pile up more sandbags, make the trenches a little bit taller or a little bit deeper. This is just your average trench, talking about your average height individual, but also there's different occupations within these trenches, especially your like support trenches and your like your resting trenches. There's different stuff going on. It's very coordinated. It's actually incredibly complicated. You think that they're just in the ground shooting each other. It's actually incredibly complicated. Um, is 5'10" tall enough, you think? Yeah. I'm not good at math either. Okay, 5'7" for men, 5'2". Ah, dang it, William, you're taller than me, dude. You're 6'4", I'm 6. Well, I tell everybody I'm 6'3". I'm really 6'2" and a half. But if I'm wearing if I'm wearing boots, I'm 6'3". 5'10" ish. What size shoe do you wear? Okay. Now we're. I really don't know how tall y'all are. I mean, I really don't. Um, okay. Anyways, all right. I'm getting back to the trench diagram. All right. So let's see. We have a sump. So these are like holes that are dug to keep the water draining, okay? To keep the water draining at the bottom. And then these duct boards, all they are is they're wooden slats that are joined together to, go over those sumps, to go over that water. Here's the thing about water and how incredibly um, dangerous it can be. Not just dangerous, but like what water does over a prolonged period of time. When you're in the pool for, I don't know, say you're in the pool for an hour, 2 hours, you're in the ocean for a couple hours, and your skin gets all wrinkly. Well, that's just the beginning. Okay. Now, if you were to be exposed to being submerged in water or having your feet in water for like days at a time, your feet will literally begin to rot off. It is called trench foot. We don't have to look at trench foot right now, but we will. Don't worry, we will look at some trench foot because you need to understand. The same thing happens in Vietnam. Has anybody ever seen Forrest Gump? Anybody ever seen Forrest Gump? If you've seen Forrest Gump, hit me up in the chat. Let me know that you've seen Forrest Gump because I've got some. I have got some knowledge to drop on you. Got some knowledge to drop on you. Yes, 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 yes. If you've seen Forrest, Lieutenant Dan, you're exactly right. Lieutenant Dan's number one rule is every time we stop, you change socks. You always have dry socks on. Um, that is the number one rule. That you're good, Colby. That is the number one rule. You know why? Again, because if your feet are or in moisture, or if they are again submerged in water for long periods of time, you're walking around like what's going to happen is your feet are going to become like blistered, and then after that it's just going to continue to deteriorate. Your feet are going to essentially rot off. Think about it this way. Greg, you did not. You freaking liar. I don't know. Did you? Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Did you really? I know you're a lifeguard. You didn't get trench foot because you would have known better because you've had me before. I did. You have any pictures of it? You don't. If you don't have pictures, it didn't happen. Anyways. Uh let's see. Let's see. Okay. So again, you got to keep your feet dry. You got to keep your feet dry. Hey, if you want to know, hey, you know how the Grand Canyon was created? Water. Water created the Grand Canyon. Water is destructive. It can be. All right. So you have fire step. Again, this is exactly what you think of. It allows the occupant to step up on there so they can see over the trench. You have ammunition shelf. That kind of goes without saying. It's the shelf where you put your ammo. Elbow rest. Again, that kind of goes without saying. It's the place where you rest your elbow. Parapet. All right. So this is just a protective barrier to, again, like where you're just kind of peeking over, right? Because the more of your body that is exposed, the more likely you are to get shot. Um, so again, that is there as a barrier. There is also barbed wire that is placed in front of the parapet. Now, the reason that they have barbed wire there is because, well, it is possible. It is possible to get from the enemy trench to your trench. Okay, that it is possible. It's unlikely, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. It's unlikely, but if somehow someone is to cross over from their trench to your trench, that barbed wire will at least slow them down. They may be able to get through it. They may be able to, cut through it is the main way. But it at least slows them down. And if they don't have anything to cut through the barbed wire, they may have to physically, like try to, maneuver through it, which again can eat you up. All right. So the last term that you guys need to understand is this term, no man's land. No man's land is that space between enemy trenches. So let's say this is our trench. Across from us is the enemy trench. All of that area in between is no man's land. Somebody, why do you guys think it's called no man's land? Why do you think it's called no man's land? Good question, Devin. I'll get to that in just a minute, okay? Because there's no man. No one goes there. Very good. Very good. No man has been there. People have gone through it, but it's very unlikely that you'll make it. Because again, that's where everything's good job. There you go. Nobody wants to go. That's where all the fighting is going on between these trenches. They're shooting at each other, not just rifle fire. Again, there's artillery, there's mortar, there's just bodies. Just if somebody was to get shot in no man's land, you can't really save them. They're gone, and that's a hard thing to reconcile. If you're shot in no man's land and you're bleeding out in no man's land, there's no one that can really help you. And yeah, Gage, you're right, man. You're right. People would do that, dude. World War I was, dude, so incredibly brutal that again, like, dude, people are having existential crisis within these trenches, man. Like, what's the purpose of living? Like, they did not understand exactly the brutality of World War I when they got in those trenches and the toll that World War I would take on them. We will talk about the 1914 Christmas Truce, but that is a very, isolated event. Um, and it comes at the beginning of the war. Um, Not to say that it doesn't have its place and that it's not important, because it is. We will talk about some specific events. Again, we are covering World War I in about 4 weeks, so we won't be able to talk about everything of World War I. But we will talk you know, we will mention that and several other events. Let's see. But what if there's barbed wire? I'm going back to your question, Devin. What if there is barbed wire in front of your trench and you want to go to the next trench? All right. So, um, if there's barbed wire in front of your trench, again, like, you're going to have to cut through your barbed wire. You're going to have to cross over no man's land, and then you're going to have to cut through their barbed wire. This there are like that's what honestly, that's how you won battles, is taking the opposition's like trench and then turning that and using against them. That's how you win these battles, and that's also why these battles are like months long. And that's also why a lot of these battles end in stalemates, because you can't physically take the other trenches. Um, Dude, World War I, I'm telling you, man, it's brutal. It's brutal, brutal. Um, all right, so um, last thing, and I'm gonna let you guys go. So again, make sure that you get this. I do want you to draw this, label it in your notebook, and then I also want you to just jot down this stuff right here. Again, this is to help you. This is to help you. Here's the thing. Tomorrow you will have a notebook quiz, okay? Notebook quiz is based off of what we have done in your notebook. So it is open note. What does that look like? Well, it is a notebook quiz. So again, everything out of your notebook. Also, you will see a little bit from this World War I weaponry chart, just a little bit from it. I know that is due tonight. I did get one question about disadvantages of trench mortar, I'll say this. Hopefully, you're listening. Um, One of the disadvantages of mortar, especially early on in the war, is that it's heavy, and that it's hard to like mobilize. That will be solved throughout like the entirety of World War I, and it will become much more mobile and be able to be like moved around trenches. But in the beginning of the war, it's hard to move. It's hard, it's hard for guys just to pick it up and move it. Also, you kind of have to, you have to think, like, you have to be a mathematical thinker. Like, this is an equation, right? Like, you are taking into account distance, velocity, trajectory. So it's not like you can just like shoot it and automatically hit your enemy. Like, it takes some trial and error. It takes some, it takes some thinking. Uh, it's set as is it set as an announcement? Well, good thing you guys are all on here. I thought I put it as material. I thought I put it in the notes section too. Let's check. Let's check. Let's check. All right, that's where I messed up, and that's just a draft. Yeah, it's in the notes section. It's in the notes section. Trench diagrams in the notes section, so that does need to go in your notebook. Okay, so we'll make sure we're on the same page. It does need to go in your notebook. All projectiles follow a parabola. Yeah, you're speaking language that I don't understand. Yeah, you don't have. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Devin. You don't have to turn it in. Here's what you guys will do. Okay, so listen real quick. Listen real quick. Okay, fair enough, Gage. All right, so real quick. I want you to listen to me. So your quiz tomorrow, it's going to be 10 questions. It's going to be 10 questions. It comes directly from what we've already done. So again, it will come from the causes of World War I. It will come from a little bit from the World War I weaponry. and from our diagram today, okay? That's where the questions I am coming up with will come from. Yeah, it's easy. It's easy. As long as you're keeping up with what we're doing, and you understand what we're doing, then dude, it'll take you like 10 minutes tops. But there is another aspect to it. Because we are virtual, and I can't like physically see that you're keeping up with everything in your notebook. Yeah, I know that I know you can just like log into Google Classroom and, use my posted notes and go about it. But again, I told you guys I want you to write it for, again, variety of reasons. So here's what I ask of you. I am going to put this in the instructions, but you will need to complete the quiz and you will need to take pictures, 2 pictures, okay, of the causes of World War I notes and the trench diagram. That's it, because that's the only thing I've asked you to put in your notebook. You need to take pictures of those two and submit those as well. Okay, you'll need to submit those as well. So let's pretend. Let's go through the scenario, because this is probably a question you're having. Let's say you do the quiz, you get 100 on it, but you don't attach the notes with it. Well, I view those as 2 separate things, okay? The notes are online, Gage. I want your notes, not somebody else's. Golly. Anyways, so let's say no, I don't know. Let's say that you get 100 on the quiz, but you don't attach your notes. Okay, I view those as 2 separate things. So notes is one half, quiz is the other half. You get 100 on the quiz, you don't attach notes, you get a 0 there. I combine that, divide by 2, you get a 50. That's not good, Gage. That's not good. Okay, that's not good. That's not good. Let's pretend that you attach your notes. You get 100 on that part of it, on that half. You get a 50 on your quiz. I don't know how, but somehow you manage to get a 50 on your quiz. So what do? I combine those, divide by 2, you get a 75. So you've raised your grade to a 75, even though you failed the quiz. Okay, so it's a way to, it kind of helps you out that way. The only way to fail this class is by, again, not turning in assignments, not following directions. Okay, if you do those 2 things and you just do your best, you're gonna be fine. Okay. So I will post those instructions tomorrow. I will post that quiz tomorrow. It will be due Sunday night. Okay. So that means you have all day tomorrow. You have all day Saturday. You have all day Sunday. It's just due by Sunday night, so that when we start Monday morning, we're fresh. Okay. All right. Has anybody got any questions? Anybody got any questions? If you don't have any questions, then you are free to go, and I will see you guys next week. I know I'm trying to click off of it. There we go. No, we do not. It is MLK Junior Day, so we do not have class Monday. Exactly what I was thinking. All right. See you later. See you, Gage.